The sunlight streams in through the courthouse windows, slicing across the room in hard, gold beams. All of the camera lenses turn on Meri Brown as she enters, her chin up but her eyes dull. For years, Sister Wives fans had viewed her as quiet, the one who remained in the background while Kody and Robyn constructed their ideal image. But today, the quiet is shattered. Kody sits beside his lawyer, feigning confidence. His suit is sharp, but his hands tremble against the table. Robyn sits beside him, mascara already smudged before the hearing even begins. The atmosphere between them is frosty, no darting glances, no gentle whispers. It's as if they already know what's about to happen, and neither of them wants to see it. The judge enters, the gavel's sharp crack echoing through the room. Court is now in session, he declares. Everyone stands, and the tension rises with them. Meri takes her seat at the plaintiff's table. Her lawyer, a woman named Grace Turner, leans in close and whisper. Case is about alleged fraud with family records and DNA testing. Are you saying the defendant made false statements? Meri's eyes don't blink. Yes, Your Honor. He and Robyn both had knowledge of the truth regarding the paternity of a child, and they kept it from me, kept it from the world. There is a shocked gasp all through the courtroom. Christine covers her mouth. Janelle mouths, "Oh my God." Kody bangs his hand on the table once more. That's a lie. You're distorting things, Meri. You're jealous because I have moved on. The judge slams his gavel. Mr. Brown, calm down. Robyn finally breaks her silence, her voice cracking. We didn't mean it to happen. It was complicated. Grace moves toward her. So you're saying that there was something to hide? Robyn stiffens. Kody glowers at her, but the damage is already done. The tension is intolerable. Reporters write furiously, the bailiff looks nervously at the judge. Meri, for the first time, appears serene. The pain etched on her face for so many years appears to seep away into still strength. Grace opens a folder. Your Honor, Exhibit A, documents detailing a privately conducted DNA test by Mr. Brown and Mrs. Robyn Brown 2 years ago. The results were kept secret, and the father of the child was fabricated on legal documents. The judge's eyes widen. Mr. Brown, is this true? Kody stammers, his bravado fading. Those were personal issues. They had nothing to do with this case. Grace presses. Then why hide them? Why lie to your wife, your family, and your public? Kody's voice raises. Because it wasn't anybody's business. The courtroom is in an uproar again. The judge is calling for order, but the chaos only adds more tension. Meri observes him, her eyes no longer moist with tears but firm, icy, unyielding. It was everyone's business, she states, the day you made our family open to the world. You demonstrated unity, love, and faith, to you, while you constructed everything on a lie. The judge groans, looking between them. I will read this document, but until then, I want both parties to keep calm. This is not a circus. Grace nods respectfully, but she's already pushing another folder down the table. As you say, Your Honor. But there is additional evidence that supports these results, emails, bank transactions, and eyewitness testimony. And by the end of today's hearing, we will present physical evidence. Robyn's breathing accelerates. She whispers to Kody, we have to stop this now. Please. But Kody's rage overpowers her fear. No, he spits, she doesn't get to destroy us. The judge glances down at the sealed envelope on his desk, the one entered previously as key evidence. He slowly raises it, the paper rustling in his fingers. I think it's time we review the DNA submission. A low hum runs through the gallery. Meri's heart thunders, and Grace gives her solemn nod. Kody's lawyer protests once more, but the judge silences him. Enough. This court will see the truth. The bailiff advances, taking the envelope. The seal is torn with a simple clean rip. All heads in the courtroom turn, all breaths stop. The judge glances upwards. The findings contained in this letter, he says, will decide the legitimacy of the plaintiff's claim and could change legal custody and financial status. Meri's eyes glisten, not from pain this time, but from long-awaited vindication. Kody looks pale. Robyn grips his hand, whispering something frantic. The narrator's voice breaks through softly, filled with tension and emotion. As the envelope opened, years of secrets began to unravel, secrets that would turn the Brown family's story upside down and reveal what kind of truth can only survive inside a courtroom. The judge adjusts his glasses, scanning the first page of the document with a slow, deliberate motion. The tension in the room is suffocating, even the ticking of the courtroom clock feels louder than it should. Meri's breath catches as she watches his expression change, first confusion, then shock. Kody leans in, whispering to his attorney, "What does it say? What's in there?" The judge does not respond. He clears his throat, the paper shivering slightly in his fingers. Based on the DNA report, he starts, "The child in dispute is not the biological child of Mr. Brown." The words strike with the force of a thunderclap. A courtroom gasp spreads like a ripple. Robyn's body involuntarily rocks, as if punched, her eyes well up with tears immediately. Kody's face goes white. For an instant, the confident patriarch that everyone used to know disappears, replaced by a man trapped by reality. Meri doesn't stir. She doesn't smile. She doesn't sob. She simply exhales, slow and deep, releasing years of anguish on one breath. The judge goes on, "The report also adds that the DNA sample belongs to a person named Michael J. Thompson, whose name was found in financial transactions associated with Mrs. Robyn Brown." The courtroom erupts once more. Reporters dash forward, cameras click. Christine puts her hand over her mouth, whispering, "Oh my God." "Robyn." Janelle simply shakes her head, unable to speak. Kody leaps to his feet, his voice thundering. "That's not possible. That's not what happened. She's lying to destroy my family." Grace, Meri's attorney, calmly holds up the lab certification. "These are verified results from an accredited DNA laboratory, Your Honor." And the signature at the bottom belongs to both Kody and Robyn Brown. Robyn breaks down completely. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she cries, her words tumbling out between sobs. "It was years ago, before the cameras, before all of this. Kody promised no one would ever know." Kody's anger turns on her instantly. "You guaranteed me you'd take care of it." The courtroom gasps once again as Robyn yells back, "You said it didn't matter. You said you loved me no matter what." The judge bangs the gavel. "Order! Order!" Meri blinks and shuts her eyes for an instant, her fingers clasped tight around the edge of the table. All those years of humiliation, being made the pariah, seeing Kody flaunt his affection for Robyn, these now seem background hum to the silence of this moment. Grace reascends. "Your Honor, we are presenting follow-up evidence, bank transactions connecting Mrs. Robyn Brown and Mr. Thompson for the past 5 years. These overlap with the time when the Browns portrayed themselves in public as a solid family." The judge gives a nod. "Continue." Meri observes the evidence as it goes through the clerk's hands. Her heart is heavy but determined. This isn't a win, it's vindication laced with grief. Robyn cries hard. "I never intended to hurt anyone," she begs. "I just didn't know what to do." Kody's tone drops, low and venomous. "You destroyed everything, Robyn. Do you get that?" She regards him through her tears. "No, Kody. You did, when you chose the lie, not the truth." There's silence for a long moment. The family once beyond reach now sits in shambles under the glare of fluorescent lights and judgment. Grace does speak softly but firmly. "Mrs. Brown," she addresses Meri, "how was it, living with the secret before you were told the whole truth?" Meri's eyes rise, shining but fierce. "It was like drowning in slow motion. Everyone saw me smiling on TV, but no one knew how many times I cried behind the camera. I thought I was the issue, that if I was more forgiving, he'd come back to me. But now I know. I was just the one he couldn't lie to forever. The courtroom falls silent. Even the judge seems shaken. Grace goes on. And so, when you found the documents, you understood the deception was not only emotional, it was legal? Yes, Meri says. He used family money to hide the truth. He forged signatures. He made me think I was a part of a story already remade without me. Kody snaps, "You're twisting everything. You don't get what it was like to keep this family together." Meri slowly turns to him. Her voice is steady, but it slices like glass. "You didn't keep the family together, Kody. You kept the camera. There's a difference." Gasps and stifled laughter ripple from the gallery. Even the judge suppresses a little sigh. Grace smooths out her papers. "Your Honor, we'd like to enter Exhibit C, taped phone calls between the defendants 2 years ago. They're talking about keeping it from the public and skewing family finances to cover it up." Kody's lawyer jumps up in a panic. "Objection. These are private and not admissible." "Overruled," says the judge curtly. "Play the first clip." The courtroom lights dim slightly as the recording begins. Robyn's voice, shaky but clear, fills the speakers. "Robyn, recording. What if Meri finds out? What if she sees the transfers?" "Kody, recording. Then we'll say it was a loan. No one needs to know. If she keeps pushing, I'll handle her." The clip stops. Meri's eyes close again, but this time not from sadness, from relief. Every word confirms what she felt in her bones for years. Kody looks cornered. "That was taken out of context," he yells, his voice cracking. The judge raises his brow. "Mr. Brown, context won't change your words." And there it is, the sound of a man realizing his empire was built on sand. Grace returns to her seat, her voice measured and contented. "No further questions at this time, Your Honor." The judge nods in the direction of the defense table. "Mr. Brown, do you wish to make a statement?" Kody stands slowly. His voice shudders, but he attempts to keep it steady. "This is a private issue, and it shouldn't be aired. Yes, there were mistakes, but everything I did was done to try to protect my family. To protect Robyn." He angles himself towards Meri, rage smoldering under his eyes. "And you're doing this out of revenge." Meri moves her head from side to side. "No. I'm doing this out of truth." The air changes. Robyn stares at her hands, quietly weeping. Christine wipes away tears in the gallery. The judge breathes. "Considering the nature of this evidence," he continues, "the court will require time to examine the complete documentation. But based on what's before us, this case will move forward to the next step." He rises, calling for a recess. "We reconvene tomorrow morning." Court adjourned. The gavel strikes again. The courtroom is thrown into pandemonium, reporters scurrying out to report breaking news, whispers humming in the air like electricity. Meri sits quietly, gazing at the table. For years, she hasn't felt anything approaching peace, tenuous, but genuine. Grace places her hand on her shoulder. "You did great today," she says gently. Meri nods. "I didn't come here to tear anyone down. I came here to not be torn down." As the courtroom clears, Kody and Robyn sit in stunned silence at the defense table. Robyn's mascara smudges down her cheeks. Kody sits blankly gazing at the judge's bench, lost outside the courthouse. The world erupts in headlines. DNA shocker in sister wives trial. Cameras converge, fans call out questions, and social media overflows with shock. Within, the lights dim as the janitor brooms the floor, the sound of footfalls growing faint down the hallway. Behind closed doors, however, one burning question remains. If Kody isn't the father, then who is Michael J. Thompson, and why was Robyn sending him money all this time after the test results were returned? The following morning, storm clouds gather over Flagstaff with the courthouse looming in the gray. News vans line the street, satellite dishes reaching up like starving vultures. Inside, things feel different, colder, more oppressive. The discovery of the DNA bombshell has opened something up in the Brown family, and everyone is aware of what today will cut even deeper. Meri strides down the hallway accompanied by her lawyer, Grace Turner. Her eyes are swollen but resolute. There is no makeup to conceal the fatigue, just unvarnished truth etched on her face. Reporters call out her name, but she ignores them. Her heels click on the marble, rhythmic and steady, like the procession of one who's had enough of being silenced. Inside the courtroom, Kody already sits, riffling through papers he likely hasn't even read. His jaw clenches and recalcitrates, his tie slack. Robyn sits beside him, sunglasses covering puffy eyes. They don't talk. The air between them gapes like a canyon created by years of deception and remorse. Christine and Janelle enter quietly, their faces a blend of sadness and curiosity. They sit in their customary positions behind Meri. Christine leans over to Janelle and speaks softly. She looks stronger today. Janelle nods. She's finally free from the pretenses. The judge appears, his face somber. Court is now back in session. Counsel, you may proceed. Grace stands. There will be testimony from a number of witnesses today who can testify to the activities surrounding the covering up of books and emotional coercion within this household. Kody's attorney rolls his eyes. Your Honor, this is now a reality show. The judge glares at him. Then you might want to tell your client to desist from providing fodder for one. Continue, Ms. Turner. The first witness to be called is Kody Brown. A buzz of whispers runs through the room as she comes to take the stand. Christine's hands shake a little as she affirms the oath. Mrs. Brown, Grace starts, you lived with the Brown family for more than 25 years. Can you tell us what you saw over that period of time between Meri, Kody, and Robyn? Christine pauses. I noticed everything alter when Robyn came in. Kody became distant, particularly with Meri. It wasn't emotional, it felt like Meri ceased to exist in his reality. Grace smiles softly. Did you ever sense tension around money or secrets? Christine inhales deeply. Yes. Robyn would say she needed money for private things, and Kody would simply vanish for days. We weren't supposed to question it. When Meri questioned it, he'd say she was toxic or jealous. Kody leans forward in his chair, eyes glinting. That's a lie. Christine's voice trembles but doesn't break. You told us we were family, Kody. You made us believe in something sacred. But when the camera stopped rolling, you treated us like extras in your story. The courtroom hums. Grace raises a hand. Please, go on. The judge thanks Christine and dismisses her from the witness stand. As she passes Meri, their eyes collide. Christine nods slightly, a silent apology long past due. Then Grace calls a forensic accountant. Charts and records appear on a screen. Transfers from Robyn's private accounts and Michael J. Thompson are verified. The evidence is beyond dispute. When the presentation finishes, the judge looks at Kody. Mr. Brown, would you like to respond? Kody stands, his voice shaking. You don't get what it's like to be under public scrutiny. Everything I did was for protection of my family. Robyn was in a vulnerable position, and I protected her. Grace breaks in. By forging documents and keeping paternity a secret? Kody scowls. You twist everything around. Meri's resentful because she lost attention. Meri speaks at last, her voice low and certain. No, Kody. I'm wounded because I lost my truth. And you ensured that. The room is silent. Kody's jaw clenches, but he doesn't speak. Grace walks towards the bench. Your Honor, at this juncture, we'd like to present one final exhibit, a tape recovered from Mrs. Brown's private archives. Kody's attorney stands up. We weren't informed. You were, Grace breaks in quietly. Last week. You just didn't think we would actually play it. The judge waves his hand. Continue. A hush descends as Grace fast forwards. Kody's voice, recording will say the test was inconclusive. Meri doesn't need to know everything. The audience loves the unity angle. Just smile. Robyn, recording, but what if it comes out? What if someone discovers about Michael? Kody, then we deny it. Easy. By the time anyone gives a damn, we'll be too big to touch. The clip ends. A few audible gasps wave their way through the courtroom. Meri's eyes shine, her breath shaking. Christine appears shattered. Janelle mutters, unbelievable. The judge takes a deep breath. Mr. Brown, how do you account for this? Kody stutters. That was taken out of context. We were under stress. The judge interrupts him. Enough. This isn't a TV show, Mr. Brown. This is perjury and fraud we're dealing with. Robyn suddenly rises. Stop, she wails. I can't go on anymore. Everyone goes still. Kody stares at her incredulous. Robyn, sit down. No, she cries, weeping. You swore we'd never have to endure this. You told me if I stayed silent, this would all go away. Her voice breaks. Michael was a mistake, but he was nice to me when you weren't. You ignored me for months, Kody. You treated me like a trophy for the cameras, not a wife. The courtroom falls silent. Kody's face twists in anger. You don't know what you're saying, he growls. Robyn shakes her head. I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm done lying for you. The judge bangs the gavel again. Order. Order. Reporters struggle to get every moment on tape. Christine shakes her head, holding Janelle's arm. Did she just confess? Janelle takes a slow nod. She did. Meri covers her eyes, muttering to herself, finally. The judge appears tired, rubbing his temples. Mrs. Brown, your testimony will be included in the record. But let me make it clear, these confessions have legal implications. Robyn nods, crying. I get it, Your Honor. I cannot bear this anymore. The judge returns to Meri. Mrs. Brown, do you wish to continue with your final evidence? Meri glances over at Grace, who is nodding. Yes, Your Honor. We have one more piece. Meri pulls out of her bag a tiny flash drive. Grace plugs it into the monitor in the courtroom. This, she explains, is a video Meri made years ago, when she first started suspecting dishonesty. Kody's attorney rises to his feet again. Objection, irrelevant. The judge rolls his eyes. Overruled. Play the video. The screen comes on. A younger Meri is on the screen, talking directly to the camera. Her expression is weary, her voice tiny but firm. If someone ever gets to see this, it means I was right. Something isn't adding up. Kody keeps disappearing, Robyn keeps crying, and I keep pretending everything's okay. But I can feel it, there's a truth no one's telling me. The video ends. The quiet that follows is intolerable. The judge sets his elbows on his knees. I've seen enough for today. His voice holds the weight of incredulity and sadness. Meri glances over the courtroom, at Kody, at Robyn, at the family that once represented love and trust. She sees only strangers held together by deceit. As the judge recesses for the day, Robyn breaks down in sobs. Kody bolts out, cursing under his breath, cameras following him down the hall. Christine and Janelle sit frozen. Meri sits in silence, hands together. Tomorrow, Grace whispers, we lay bare the last piece, the monetary motive behind it all. Meri nods, her gaze far away. Tomorrow, she whispers, they finally realize what I've always known. As the room is cleared, Christine approaches her. I'm sorry, she whispers. For not believing in you earlier. Meri smiles weakly. You weren't ready to. None of us were. Outside, the sky opens up at last, rain pounding the courthouse steps. Cameras flash in the rain, reporters shouting over each other. But within that storm, Meri emerges slowly, not this time hiding. Because tomorrow, the world will listen to the recording that confirms not only a lie, but a betrayal that went deeper than anyone could have ever imagined. The storm hasn't abated since morning. Rain pounds against the courthouse windows in furious drumbeats, resounding through the near-capacity courtroom. The air is electric, like everyone within is aware that today will not only yield additional evidence. It will yield the reckoning. Meri sits quietly at the plaintiff's table, folded hands, eyes far away. Grace Turner, her lawyer, is whispering plans, but Meri barely listens. All of her muscles are stretched tight. With tension. Today is the day she plays the tape. The day her truth is no longer a secret. Across the room, Kody sits rigid, his jaw clenched so tight it looks painful. Robyn is beside him, but there's no unity left. She hasn't spoken to him since yesterday's emotional meltdown. Her makeup is minimal, her expression haunted. She looks like someone who's finally realized what loving Kody Brown really costs. Christine and Janelle slip in unnoticed, taking their seats. The gallery is filled, reporters, cameras, and gawkers who used to love this family. They watch now as the slow-motion implosion of a man who made his fortune on faith and family values. The judge comes in, and the courtroom stands. The gavel comes down. Court is now in session. Ms. Turner, I believe you have new evidence to bring forward. Grace asserts. Yes, Your Honor. Today we will present an audio recording that was obtained from a trusted source. It specifically relates to the defendant's actions and intent in keeping financial and personal details hidden from both my client and the general public. Kody's lawyer springs into action. Objection. We have no way of knowing the validity of this alleged recording. Grace smiles slightly. It's been authenticated, Mr. Wallace. You may want to read the filings before making an objection. The judge nods. Proceed. Grace plugs in a small device. The courtroom falls silent as the speakers crackle to life. Kody's voice fills the room, calm, almost arrogant. Kody, look, as long as Meri doesn't dig too deep, we're fine. The audience wants happy endings. Robyn's tears are good for sympathy, Meri's pain is good for ratings. But truth? Truth ruins the brand. A murmur runs through the courtroom. Robyn hides her face in both hands, shaking. Kody's face goes a shade whiter. Grace allows the clip to continue. Robyn, but what if Christine discovers? She's been questioning. Kody, then we explain that she's emotional. That's what the audience wants. They love that sort of thing. The recording ends. Silence. The judge leans forward. Mr. Brown, care to explain that? Kody attempts to calm his tone. That was taken out of context. We were talking about a TV plot, not life. Grace crosses her arms. Except this wasn't on set, was it? That recording was made 2 weeks after your last production ended. No cameras, no script, just you and Robyn. Kody swallows hard, his eyes flicking towards Robyn, but she refuses to meet his gaze. Robyn starts to cry suddenly. I can't take this anymore, she weeps. Kody, please, just be honest with them. Kody shakes his head wildly. Don't you dare. Robyn rises, tears on her face. I was the one who persuaded Meri to remain, even when I realized what you were doing. You said it was for the family. You said play along. I trusted you. The judge thumps his gavel. Mrs. Brown, try to calm yourself. But Robyn won't stop. You made me lie to everyone, to my kids, to her, to the world. And now you're acting like it was all an act? Kody bangs on the table. You think you're so innocent? You were sitting right there with me. The courtroom explodes again. Reporters murmur, cameras click. Christine gasps, leaning over to whisper to Janelle, he's finished. He's totally finished. The judge demands order. Enough. If this keeps up, I will empty the courtroom. Grace steps forward, her voice still controlled but cutting. Your Honor, if I could, I think there is one last piece of this puzzle that needs to be heard before the defense keeps tearing itself apart. The judge nods grudgingly. Proceed. Grace presses play once more. Robyn, recording. What if Meri finds the DNA papers? Kody, she won't. I changed the access code. Even if she does, she can't do anything without the signed forms. Robyn, that's illegal, Kody. Kody, it's protection. Don't worry, I'll get Meri to look unstable if she makes a big deal of this. A gasp of horror bursts from the audience. Christine grabs her chest. Janelle leans in and whispers, he actually said it. The judge appears shocked. Mr. Brown, do you know that knowingly tampering with or destroying legal documents is obstruction? Kody's mouth drops, but he says nothing. Grace clasps her hands on the table. Your Honor, these are not the words of an under-the-gun husband. These are the words of a man constructing a falsehood to salvage his reputation and make money off dishonesty. Meri does speak at last, her voice shaking but distinct. He didn't just control the family, he controlled all of us. He told us for years that love and faith bound us together. But it wasn't love. It was control. The judge nods gravely. We will hear this recording. But first, before I recess, I'd like to hear it from the defendant and Mrs. Robyn Brown themselves. Robyn snuffles, her voice trembling. Your Honor, I don't have an excuse. I thought I believed in him. I thought we were doing what was best for our family, but now I realize how mistaken I was. Kody hisses at her, whispering fiercely, don't you dare turn on me. Robyn looks at him, tears in her eyes. You turned on all of us years ago, Kody. The room falls silent. The judge takes a deep breath, she looks tired. Mr. Brown, any comment? Kody rises, puffed out chest. This is a witch hunt. My wives never realized what I was attempting to create. I wanted to demonstrate to America that plural marriage could be done, that love could be greater than jealousy. But all they wanted was attention. Meri chuckles softly, shaking her head. No, Kody. All you ever wanted was control. You didn't want love, you wanted loyalty without responsibility. The judge leans forward. That's all I want to hear. Mr. Brown, you're close enough to self-incrimination to walk home. Sit down. Kody bangs his folder on the table and drops into his chair, muttering under his breath. Grace turns to the judge. Your Honor, before we finish, my client has one last thing to say. The judge nods. Go on, Mrs. Brown. Meri stands up. The court falls silent at once. Her voice is quiet, but firm. I remained silent for years because I believed silence was strength. I believed forgiving him would restore me to wholeness. But silence doesn't cure lies, it nourishes them. I'm not here to demolish him. I'm here to take back myself. A shiver of emotion sweeps through the courtroom. Christine and Janelle blow their noses. Even the judge appears to be in tears. The judge clears his throat. We will reconvene tomorrow for closing arguments and the verdict. Until that time, this court stands in recess. The gavel comes down. The sound explodes instantly, reporters pushing forward, flashes illuminating the room like lightning. Kody pushes for the door, his lawyer in tow. Robyn slumps over her chair, sobbing hysterically. Christine hurries to Meri, embracing her. You did it, she breathes. You finally broke free. Meri blinks shakily, a weak smile appearing. Not yet. Tomorrow, officially. Outside, the rain at last starts to subside, the tempest passing after hours of rage. But within the courthouse, feelings still churn like thunder. Kody and Robyn depart individually, their silence more oppressive than any fight they've ever fought. Christine and Janelle remain behind, speaking softly to Grace. Meri emerges onto the courthouse steps, rain spitting against her face. The scent of earth and liberty fills the air. For the first time in years, she feels free. But she knows, deep down, tomorrow won't only bring closure. It will bring exposure. Because there's one last document, the one everyone hasn't seen yet, that shows just how far Kody went to keep the control. And when that document comes to light, not even his charm, his show, or his fans will be able to bail him out. The courthouse is a war zone of quiet. Even before the doors open, the atmosphere outside seems denser, loaded with the meaning of all that has transpired. Cameras sit like sentinels along the steps, reporters holding microphones, poised for that single glimpse, that one reaction, that will determine the story for the rest of the world. Within, the lights flash over weary faces. It's the last day. The verdict day. Meri enters the courtroom in a dark green suit, her hair in a ponytail, her face expressionless but calm. The tightness in her jaw gives away the fact she hasn't slept. Each word, each recollection of Kody's gameplaying has been going through her mind like a mantra she can't stop. Christine and Janelle are already sitting, holding hands. Robyn sits across from them, remote and white, her lawyer hissing final instructions. Kody arrives a moment or two later, face set, still defiant as always. His confidence, even broken this time, still glows behind his eyes, the kind of arrogance that refuses to dissipate even when it's all been said and done. The bailiff requests order. The judge enters, his expression serious. The gavel falls once. Court is now in session. Today, we will render the verdict in Brown versus Brown. Grace Turner rises, her voice respectful but weighted with conviction. Your Honor, prior to the verdict, my client wishes to present a brief closing argument. The judge inclines his head. Proceed. Meri gets up slowly, breathing before she speaks. Her voice shakes initially but becomes stronger with every word. When I first entered this courtroom, I wasn't seeking revenge. I was seeking peace. I wanted answers, to know how love could turn to lies so quickly. But along the way, I came to realize this trial isn't about me. It's about each of us who've been led to believe that silence is loyalty. Her eyes moved to Kody. You said that obedience was strength, that voicing one's opinion was betrayal. But today I see that voicing one's opinion is the only way to break free from being controlled. Meri gets up. The courtroom is so quiet, you can even hear the sound of wood creaking under her chair. Kody's attorney stands next. His tone is sharp but strained. Your Honor, my client has been vilified. What you've heard in these proceedings is a story crafted by bitterness. Yes, Mr. Brown made mistakes, but who hasn't? The so-called evidence was nothing more than conversations twisted to fit a narrative. This is not justice, it's humiliation. Kody rises abruptly, ignoring his attorney's hand. I have something to say. The judge breathes, but he nods. Briefly, Mr. Brown. Kody's tone is boisterous, authoritative. I constructed a family when no one believed in us. I proved America that plural love was viable. And what did I receive in return? Betrayal. From the very ones that I gave up everything for. He fingers Meri. You're the victim here? You were a member of this family, until it wasn't convenient anymore. You all turned on me as soon as I no longer played by your rules. Robyn winces, softly whispering, Kody, please. But he doesn't. He pounds a fist on the table. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm the guy who tried to keep everyone together while you were splintering me apart. The gavel of the judge snaps decisively. That's enough, Mr. Brown. The courtroom grows silent once more. The judge pushes his glasses up the bridge of his nose, scanning papers. Having considered the evidence, testimonies, and recordings shown, the court identifies adequate evidence of fraud, misconduct in finance, and willful tampering of legal documents. Kody tenses. Meri shuts her eyes, preparing herself. The judge goes on, thus, this court decides in the plaintiff's favor, Mrs. Meri Brown. Gasps spread through the gallery. Reporters begin taking notes frantically. Christine's hand rushes to her mouth. Janelle breathes, she won. Meri takes a shaky breath, a lone tear rolling down her cheek. Grace puts her hand on her shoulder, speaking softly, "You did it." But the judge isn't finished. In addition, due to the nature of the recordings and the tampering evidence, this court refers Mr. Kody Brown to the district attorney's office for further investigation. Kody's face pales. "What? You can't do that." The judge's voice becomes stern. "You've made a livelihood out of distorting the truth, Mr. Brown. This court will not permit you to distort justice." Robyn cries softly, covering her face. Kody looks at her. "You told them everything, didn't you?" She shakes her head, shaking. "No, Kody. You did that yourself." The gavel comes down once more. Court is adjourned. Reporters rush forward in a wave, cameras popping. Kody charges toward the door, but the crowd engulfs him with questions, his name, his face, his reputation now distorted into scandal. Meri stands frozen in the midst of the bedlam. Grace hands her a folder. "Here. The official decision. It's over." Meri gazes at the paper, her hands shaking. "Over," she whispers softly, as if checking the word for the first time. Christine and Janelle dash to her, embracing her closely. "He can't hurt you anymore," Christine whispers. Meri shakes her head very gently. "He already did. But now I get to heal." Rain has ceased outside altogether. The clouds are parting, shafts of sunlight splitting through, illuminating the courthouse steps as a stage. As Meri emerges outdoors, the crowd bursts into shouts and camera clicks. Someone yells, "Meri! What's next for you?" She smiles weakly. "Freedom," she says matter-of-factly, and descends the stairs. Robyn comes out about a few minutes later, accompanied by her attorney. She won't talk to the press. Her eyes are smeared with tears, her face etched with emptiness. Christine observes from afar, whispering, perhaps now she finally believes the truth as well. Janelle nods. "It took losing everything for us to discover ourselves all over again." Alone inside the vacant courtroom, Kody gazes at the chair Meri once occupied. His fists are balled, his image distorted in the shiny tabletop. For the first time, no cameras, no wives, no script, only silence. He mutters to himself, "They'll regret this." But even he isn't sounding so sure. Grace and Meri exit together. "You know, there'll be blowback," Grace says. "Media, public opinion, it won't be quiet." Meri nods. "That's fine. For the first time, I don't need to defend myself. The truth speaks loud enough." As they reach the courthouse steps, Meri hesitates, glancing back over her shoulder at the courtroom. "That room used to scare me so badly," she whispers. "Now it's the place where I finally woke up." Grace smiles. "You deserved that awakening." They emerge into the sunlight. Cameras click once more, but Meri doesn't duck. She waves politely, serene and shining. Christine approaches her, taking her arm. "So now what?" Meri smiles weakly. "Now? I begin again. And perhaps, for once, I do it for me." The three women descend the courthouse steps together, their outlines backlit by sunlight. Behind them, the courthouse stands tall, a site of endings, yet new beginnings. As the screen goes black, the narrator's voice interrupts. Meri Brown's trial was one of the most publicized in the country. But behind the headlines and the cameras, it was never about revenge or glory. It was about truth. And when truth stands on its own, no lie can survive it.